Good morning all, welcome back to Sew Granny Sew. After having a couple days off here, we're going to go ahead and get right back into our 12 Days of Christmas with our number 10 ornament. So as I'm doing the quilt, which will be posted at the end of this series, I had a bunch of little half square triangles left. So I went ahead and sewed those together and have those ironed flat. And there's a total of 48 and they're measuring in about 1.5 inches. So I thought, well, what can I do with these? So I went ahead and I pulled in this black star fabric here with some swirls. And it does pull out that goldish color as well in this one. So we're going to go ahead and square up these half square triangles. We probably won't use them all on one ornament, of course, but we'll just go ahead and line up our diagonal line with our diagonal of our block. And get that trimmed down. Then we'll flip it around and do the other side. And we are going to have them come in at, let's see if I can get 1 3/4. Nope. So we're going to go ahead and mark them at 1.5 inch. By the time we sew them, they will be 1 inch squares. So little tiny things today. Okay, so there they are. They're not very big at all. So I'm going to go ahead and I think we're going to start with 5 of them of that size. And then I'm also going to cut out 5 or 4 of the same size of these blocks. So I'll go ahead and get those trimmed up and cut out, and then I will meet you back here. So I have all of our blocks trimmed up. They are now 1.5 inches. And then I have the 4 corners. I went ahead and did 12 of my blocks like that. And I think we'll just make an ornament with, I have it laid out like this in a diamond to show you this. But if we just switch these two around, whoop, such as that, then we can make a star, the star points on the edges. And I think that's how I'm going to do the first one. But you could make multiple different ones and then they would all match out of your little extra half square triangles. So I think that's cute as well. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. So all we're going to do is just flip the outer rows into the inner rows. And then we'll throw a quick pin in them so we know which side we're sewing on. Then of course on the ends where you're going to have the 4 corners, you won't need to line anything up. But on these ones, you will need to line up those corner seams there. And they're not going to nest because, like I said, this is just leftover pieces off of a quilt. So they're all ironed the same way towards the dark. So we'll just want to make sure that we get them all nice and lined up in that seam. Okay, then I will bring them over to the sewing machine and we'll put a 1/4 inch seam on the side that we're sewing. We'll put a 1/4 inch seam down that and I'll just beat them all through one after another without breaking thread. We'll get those done, iron them open, and I'll come back and show you how to get them put together. Okay, so once we have them all sewn together and ironed flat, we're just going to go ahead and put them together and pin those into place. I'm just briefly putting a pin on to know which side I'm going to sew on when I get them to the machine. When we get them to the machine, we're going to make sure that those 2 seams are lined up once again. And then I'll put them through the machine, do a 1/4 inch seam all the way along there, get them cut apart, iron them open, and I'll bring you back to show you how to sew the rows together. Okay, now that we have this rows sewn together and ironed flat, we're going to go ahead and flip that one on that and that one on that. I did sew the center row open, so we're just going to match up our seams. I like to go down and put it right in the center of that seam and line that up with this one. And then you know that they're perfectly lined up. Go ahead and pull that back through. And then we will line up these seams as well, but these ones will nest. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one here. Just put it right through where that B is on the back from the two different fabrics. Put it right through that center seam where that sits at. And then when you're doing this one, you just find that same spot and put it through on this one. Okay, so bring those to the sewing machine, put a 1/4 inch seam on both of those edges. We'll come back, we'll iron it open, and I will connect the two halves in the same way as we've done here. So I'll get it all done, get it all ironed open, and I will meet you back here to show you how to finish it off. We had 4 squares that were 1.5 inches, and our 1/2 inches gets taken in the seam allowance, so we have 4 inches across. So I went ahead and I cut my back piece and my batting both at 4.5. So all we're going to do is flip that over. We're going to line that up in there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We are going to trim this out, but get it as good as possible. And this is not going to lay flat because it's got a lot of bulk in the seams there. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that on there. Now I'm going to flip this in a little bit. You do not have to because it is only 4 inches across, but I'm just going to put some pins in there to hold that into place. Now at this point, I mean, if you had bigger half square triangles, you could do a hot pad, a trivet, and if you use the heat-proof batting in it versus just 1 layer, or if you wanted to put the 2 layers of batting in the denim on the back, that works too. So I'm just going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch in the ditch right around that diamond, and that's all I'm going to do with it. I just wanted that center piece to hold into place, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick out. I could either do this for a trim, but we do have that on the backing. I have all this different Christmas stuff that I could use. You know, maybe that would look cute as a trim, and I do have just 1 strip left of that. So that may actually be what I use, because that'll be about the perfect size, I believe. Yeah. And I won't need the thickness of it, so I can cut some down and actually make the loop to hang it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that stitched in, and then I will bring you back here. Okay, so I went ahead and I have the stitching done on this. And then I cut a small piece, and this is just, I don't know, it's really small. Here, I grab this one here. It is approximately 3/4 of an inch, and all I did was fold it into thirds like this and iron it flat, and then I just stuck some pins in there to hold it like that until we use it. And then this here is 1 1/4 inch wide. This is going to be your binding to go around the outside. So you just fold it in half and iron it. And then after you get it folded in half, you're just going to fold that into the center, which would be actually be there, and iron that. And then I just put pins on there to hold that. So we can go ahead and get these pins out of here. And when we sew this on here, we're going to put it on the edge, and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch in. And then we're going to flip that around to the back and tack it onto that side. So you can either do that by hand, or you can just stitch in the ditch from the front and it will grab the back. When you're doing that, at some point, when you get to wherever you want your hanger to be, I'm going to put mine so it hangs like this. So when I get to one of the corners, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a piece down that's going to be big enough to get a hook in there to hang it on the tree. I'm going to use mine as an ornament. You could always leave the hook off and turn this into like a mug rug, to hold a coffee cup or a glass, like a coaster. They call them mug rugs. Or you can make it bigger, you know, if you're working with bigger squares, half square triangles that you have excess of. You could make it, you know, a little table topper, or make multiples, make a table runner, whatever you want to do. But I thought this was really cute for an ornament. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to get this sewn on. And when you get to the corner, you're going to sew up to a 1/4 inch from the end. You're going to pull that back, lay that flat, and then you're going to start sew in a 1/4 inch in again. That way when you flip it over, you have good miter quarters on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this sewn on, and I will bring it back to show you the finished product. Okay, so we have that outside attached, the binding, all the way around, and have the ends on. You do want to make a fold over when you go to sew that second layer on. That's going to be facing towards this, so it's a nice finished edge. And I do have the loop attached there. So then we're just going to flip it over, and I'm going to start where I have this fold over at. And you're just going to fold that back. Make sure that lays as flat as possible. It is on the back side, so I mean, if you're just starting, this is the first one I've made as well. I've made pot holders and stuff before though, so it's kind of the same theory. And you're just gonna throw a pin in there to hold that. And you're just gonna work your way around. And when you get to the corners, you can go ahead and fold that over. So when you're stitching, I stitch from this side and I make sure that it's pulled nice and snug. So as long as you got it over that stitching from this side, as long as it's over top of that, you'll be okay. It's going to catch that back. So I'm going to sew from this side once I get it all folded over, right in that ditch there, and it will catch all of this on the back. So I'll go ahead and get that done, and I'll bring it back here. So there we have it. We have ornament number 10 done. I think it turned out cute. It does have the star shape, although it's not emphasized in this one. It's still a cute ornament. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. As always, guys, if you found this video useful, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we'd love to have you here at So Granny So. Thanks all. Have a good day. Bye.